We all know extraordinary people who do extraordinary things. They may not be famous or wealthy or powerful, but they have a generosity of spirit and a capacity for love that is awe-inspiring. Whether it's a friend who goes out of their way to help others or a complete stranger who does something kind and unexpected, these are the people who remind us that there is still goodness in the world. Meeting ordinary people who do extraordinary things is always a special experience, one that inspires hope and reminds us of our own potential to make a difference. Join me in taking a deep dive into why these special individuals do what they do. There's no denying that the world could use more kindness, and it all starts with each of us. My name's Irene Meyer, and I'm here to deliver stories about regular people who do inspiring things every day. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me again. I'm really excited to introduce you guys to my guest today. I found this stud on Instagram, and really what attracted me to him was his presence on Instagram. He was just providing value, reels. Check him out. His name is Cody Gladu.
That's right.
Right, perfect. And what really attracted me to him is that he was just so real, and so real in the sense, what I mean by that is he runs a great and I've heard a lot about this company, EXP Realty, but he is a chief operating officer of a mega team within EXP Realty. I've heard many great things about EXP Realty. I just had to meet him, and then he did not let me down. He brings the fire even in regular conversations. I'm really excited to introduce him to you guys, and I hope we provide value to both our audiences. I think we have a lot in common. Welcome, Cody.
Thank you so much, Irene. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, me too. Well, I mean, before we kind of jump into a lot of talk, I'm sure, can you tell my audience and your audience a little bit about your background?
Sure. So, born and raised San Diego, sunny California. I have always really loved people. So I think from a young age, I just really liked building relationships with other people. And slowly that turned into more of a passion around helping people just become a better version of themselves. And in the beginning, it was almost to a fault where I would sacrifice my own happiness for others. But I really like to succeed alongside others. So I think my whole life, there's been different variations of that. Through school, I was always on a team. So I played water polo, basketball. And then growing up through my career, I guess you would say, I was a long time Chipotle Mexican Grill employee. Started from the bottom and made it to the top, I guess you could say. But started cutting onions back in over 10 years ago, and eventually made my way up to becoming a field leader. So, slowly through that ladder, got to impact more and more lives, be surrounded by all kinds of different types of people from different walks of life, backgrounds, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, which was atypical of, coming out of high school where everybody that you're with does the same thing and you're all interested in the same stuff. You all wake up at the same time, go to school, blah, 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 blah. So I really fell in love with the diversity of others from Chipotle, and just decided to go heads on into, all right, how can I do more and impact more people and impact more lives and do more and help other people grow? And then inside of that, I guess I started to fall more in love with myself and found that I was hitting this wall, so to speak, of, you can't give to others what you don't have yourself. So I really started to prioritize these last few years my own health and wellness so that I could show up the best version of me for other people and then help them realize their potential. So that's what I've always been passionate about. And I still get to do that today. Right now, my vehicle to impact others is real estate, which is the mega team that I run within EXP. It's myself and then Daniel and Julie DeRoche. And we're a dynamic trio, and we're having fun and getting to change the world one house at a time.
Oh, I love that. I like how you went really way back. It kind of creates a story about, what makes you you. A little bit about, I guess what you consider your work with EXP. Why did you decide to go from Chipotle to EXP?
Good question. I think, just growing up and being at Chipotle right out of high school when I was 18 and being there for about 8 years, there just came this point. Actually, that was kind of when I was hitting my wall that I felt like I was almost, kind of like imposter syndrome a little bit, where I was trying to do more for others. And it felt like the things I was saying out of my mouth, I wasn't truly living on my own. So I was just like, I know I'm not going to roll burritos for the rest of my life. I need to get out of this situation. There was, the thing that pushed me over the edge was I had to choose between, do I want to work 80 hours a week given my certain circumstance, or do I want to choose my now wife and be able to build that relationship? And obviously I chose her. That's going great. Looking back, I think if I would have been in the mindset that I am in today and the habits that I've built into my life today, I think that would have been a lot different and probably could have kept going with Chipotle. But I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, which is why we randomly crossed paths, and I'm excited to be here with you today. But I would just say there was something in me that felt that I wasn't going to roll burritos for the rest of my life, which is what kind of pushed me onto the trajectory of really focusing and putting health and wellness above everything else. Because I truly believe the quickest way to give yourself a raise is prioritize your health and wellness. You show up a better person. You're capable of more. You think differently. You're more confident. You speak differently. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's what pushed me over, was just, I knew I wasn't going to be there forever and chose Tuscany over Chipotle. And luckily, I'm happy that I did, because now I'm here today. So.
Okay. And just to clarify, Tuscany is your wife.
Right.
Okay, awesome. Well, I mean, I guess if you were to kind of separate you from, I don't want to say your typical, but I'm going to say your average typical person in real estate agent, what would separate you, or maybe even your team, from other teams, if you had to kind of narrow it down?
Oh, good question. I would say just our number one core value, I'll just go straight to there, is people first. And so what that means to us is the person next to me's success is more important than my own. That's just something that I've always felt growing up. At Chipotle, I taught this. Here, I teach this, is your success in life is going to be determined by how good you are at elevating the people around you. So I would say our number one focus is we're not acting selfishly. It's other people's interests first. And, when you combine that with the type of passion that we all have for the industry and for helping others, it's just an unstoppable force. I feel like when you're aligned with your purpose and you have a team of people who are aligned with their purpose, a shifting market doesn't matter. A wrench in the road doesn't matter, because we all push through together. And so if you want someone that's going to show up for you and make sure that they're listening to what you're saying and treating you how you want to be treated, right? The platinum rule instead of the golden rule, is, that's who our team's going to be. There's a funny story, actually. I might really like to go celebrate by going to a really fancy dinner after we accomplish something, right? But somebody else, their version of celebration might be, I want to donate $500 to my favorite charity. So if I just decide that this person is going to come with me to celebrate their sale of their house because I really like to go out to fancy dinners, let's take them to a fancy dinner, that person might be disappointed and say, hey, I really actually don't feel good about spending this much money on food, because I would rather give it to somebody else that doesn't have as much. And actually, that's something that happened and that I learned, was like, oh crap, I didn't realize that this was going to be an offensive experience, but it was. And so just, you have to remember that people don't make decisions based off of your opinion. They make decisions based off of theirs. And it's our responsibility as salespeople, leaders, whatever you want to call it, is to build a relationship that's deep enough to understand what that person's level of awareness is and meet them where they're at.
Wow, you just said a whole bunch of things there that I could really leverage off of, but I'll stick to, we could go for hours, I think, with what you just said. Yeah, but I 100% agree with you. I think one of the things that make us very similar in the sense is that we both work with organizations like EXP, World Financial Group, where very much the same thing, taking not just ourselves to levels that maybe we wouldn't have dreamed of in the past, but helping others do the same, just as fulfilling, if not, and it sounds like for you as well, if not, it's more fulfilling to see other people succeed. And you can't find that in traditional corporate worlds, right? Being an employee, and that's not to disrespect anybody who's working for somebody else, but how often do you get to work with a team where, and it's maybe not even having to do with real estate or insurance sales like myself. But really, I think it's the teams we landed in that makes them special, which it sounds like you just landed on a really, really good team. And I mean, that brings me, and I mean, I think you already answered the question I was going to ask you, but if you were to kind of put yourself in the seat of the optimal client, or maybe even coming down to the optimal agent. Okay, so because we both have this awesome business model where not only do we help clients achieve their dreams through their dream home or their dream life, but we also can help and recruit agents who want to change the trajectory of their career. What makes, I guess, what would be the biggest problem, I suppose, somebody you might be looking for to join your team? What would be the biggest problem you could solve for them being a part of your team?
Well, I think so. EXP's entire model is based off of incentivizing agents to bring people onto their team. Okay. So on the back end, what that looks like is if you bring someone over to EXP is going to pay you a portion of what they would make on a transaction from that person because they want to continue growing their brokerage. So, and that's the good part, I would say, about the finance side. But when that happens, there's just this culture of somebody that I bring over, I'm directly responsible for and financially incentivized for their good performance. It just creates a culture of everybody's constantly sharing everything that they're doing. So I'm plugged into, and the people around me are plugged into billion-dollar teams, multi-billion-dollar teams, brand new agents in the middle. The whole array is there. So there's something that, and we're all meeting on a mastermind similar to this every Monday. So there's 800 people on this call every Monday from 12 to 1. And it's just action packed of what actually worked, boots on the ground. We're not going into theory about like, oh, you should try this or, oh, you should try this. The only people that speak are people that have actual experience of executing on whatever it is that we're all talking about. So let's just say it's open houses. So there's no one that says, oh, well, I heard this really good tip about doing open houses. Maybe we should try this. It's like, no. All right. The person that sold 200 houses on their team through open houses raises their hand. The moderator calls on them. They're like, all right, this is exactly what we do. This is how many signs you put out. This is how you direct the right people into the house. This is what it looks like to gather the information as the person comes in. Here's the script of what you say. Here's the books that we have on the counter. Here's the XYZ, everything all around. Here's how we follow up. Here's how our database follows up. Here's everything. So there's traditional real estate is, remember those dividers, right, that we were in school when you take a test, it's like the divider around you so nobody can see as you're taking your SAT. That's what traditional real estate is. The great producer, Tim Jones in the corner might be the top producer. And, if I'm brand new walking to the office, say, hey, Tim, what are you doing? He's like, well, you should just try this, but you can't look at any of my stuff. That's kind of just the tradition of real estate. And so EXP is just breaking that narrative and rewriting the narrative around, no, this is a sharing environment. And, it really comes down to scarcity versus abundance type of mindset. Like there is enough to go around for everybody. It's just about surrounding yourself with the right people. And then honestly, like I can only do so much, right? I cannot wake up at 7 a.m. for you. I cannot dial the phone for you. I cannot show up on time for you. I cannot put the signs out. I can't do all that stuff for you, but I can create an environment where all you have to do is choose to be productive and plug into what we have, and you're going to be successful. So I think that's what we could deliver for agents that maybe aren't happy where they're currently at. And that's in any state, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be in Minnesota. We're all plugged in across the country. And that's great because a lot of times what happens on the West Coast is a few months before what happens in Minnesota. So it's nice to be able to see trends and what's coming and how the market's reacting to certain things. And it just keeps us all sharp. And it's a fun group to be around. We're winners. We're excited. Like this passion that I feel it's coming from somewhere, and it's this group.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it strikes me as interesting that you were able to find this organization and you were still very passionate before it. Do you almost feel like it was meant to happen? Because I feel like the way you talk right now, it didn't come from EXP. I feel like it was always you. You just needed to find that environment that would harness it and help you grow.
Yeah, that's an awesome point, Irene. And I would say that you're 100% right. And truly, I don't really think about the fact that I work in real estate every day. It's really, how do I inspire my team to accomplish the goal that we all are set out to accomplish, right? Right now, it's help as many families as possible. Back then, it was cut the perfect size onion so that our guacamole tastes the right way when someone comes through our line, right? And that's the truth. And so I've always just, I am the guy that will do his 100% no matter what it is. If I'm going to sweep the floor, I'm going to freaking sweep the floor as best as I can. If I'm going to wipe a table, it's going to be perfectly clean. If I'm going to look at a dining room, you bet your ass that every single chair is going to be pushed in exactly how it should be. You can call it OCD. I call it owning and ownership of anything that has my name on it. I'm prideful of, and I want to make sure that it's a great result, whether it's a clean table or an exceptional experience for somebody in real estate. I've always been passionate about that. I'm not a casual guy, like I take things seriously. I really want to do the most that I possibly can and help others do the same thing. And yes, I've always done that, but I think I've unlocked this new version of me through, and I'm going back to it, through health and wellness, and it's something that I call conscious consumption. You probably saw my video out on it. I put it out a few weeks ago. It's like, you have to be aware of, what are you listening to? What are you eating? That's huge. What are you eating? What are you spending your time doing? Who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with Sarah, who's always negative, and then you wonder why you come home and you don't like the world? Are you listening to, the news? Or, it's everything. Eating, listening to, reading. What are you looking at? What are you watching? What are you spending your time doing? Like, you have to be conscious of everything you consume through all 5 senses, because all of it affects the way that you move through life.
Sorry, there's so much. We're like the same mind almost. I just don't know where to go with this. No, I do. You have someone new on your team, and they're relatively new to not just real estate. They're also relatively new to the world of personal development. How do you start that new agent?
Oh, good question. So right off the bat, I'm not bringing anybody on to the team that I don't feel connected with, that we've spent time getting to know each other, and I've been vulnerable with them. They've been vulnerable with me, because it has, when you have a culture of people that are passionate like that, it is my job to protect that culture and bring people on that are going to contribute to it, not take away from it, not suck other people's resources and energy. Sure, that might happen in the beginning with someone that's new. They're just going to naturally need more resources and, kind of coddling to boost them up. But what I look for is the right person, and truly the training that we have is going to make you a great real estate agent if you choose to be productive. So, and then naturally, just like every week at our meetings, I am talking about some sort of personal development, just because I truly feel as long as you are constantly growing yourself, you're going to grow in other places. You're going to be a better person for your family. You're going to be a better person for your wife or husband or kids. And you're going to show up a better version of you as a real estate agent when you're in front of your clients, and so I think the personal development just starts right off the bat. Like I am the lighthouse for my team of, this is how you should be. And so I'm just constantly casting that out to them so that they know, like, I want this for you. Again, I can't want it for you, but I just hope that people see me as someone that they know that they can count on, and that they know that if they have something that comes up, I'm there for them. But they also know that, like, I'm not like a traditional leader. I'm not the shake your finger type of guy. You know exactly what's expected of you based on whatever your role is. And all you got to do is execute on that, and everything's going to be good. And it's going to be really fun, because I'm going to play music and I'm going to sing all day at the office, and I'm a big energy type of guy. So as long as you execute, we're not going to have any problems. So people just understand, you come in, you plug into our training, you execute, things are good. And there's times where, we do have to cut ties with other agents, and it's a matter of, I have to protect the team, and we have to protect what we have going. That's the only way we're going to grow the right way. I don't want to grow for growth's sake.
Yeah. So what is your If you have one, I'm guessing you do though. What is your morning routine?
I'm a freak. Apparently. So I wake up at 4:15 every day. And I'm sorry, I wake up at 6 on Saturdays and Sundays. I wake up at 4:15 Monday through Friday and wake up kind of slow, toss and turn, kiss my wife, and then I meditate. And then I go to the gym. I'm at the gym until about 7, shower at the gym, come home, change, get to work by like 8:15. And then by that time, like I've accomplished so much that I'm just right in front of my computer and I'm ready to rock the whole day. No matter what comes at me, I'm so far ahead that nothing can deter me. That's how I feel. I'll work till like 6, come home. Right now I'm doing 75 hard again. So I'll go on a walk, then I'll read, and then I'm in bed by like 8:15.
Gotcha.
That's the only way I can wake up at 4:15.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. So out of curiosity, does Tuscany have the same sleep schedule?
She does.
Oh, nice.
That was an adjustment for sure.
Yeah, that would be 4:15. You got me by 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
In the beginning, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're such a grandpa, blah, blah, blah. But now she loves it and she feels good. So.
Yeah, you're right. You get so much done. You're, just like crushing it at the very beginning of your day. And that just sets you up for sure. Sets you up. So, because you're so present on social media, do you have training around social media tactics for your team, or is that something that's just you?
Good question. So I would say the social media stuff that you're seeing online for me is just watching and listening and regurgitating. So, well, not the content I come up with, but the like adding captions and when to post and what to say and things like that. It's mostly watching other influencer type people or reading books, listening to podcasts, that type of thing. And then I just made a commitment to myself probably 6 months ago that I was going to post every Thursday. So it started off as a tip of the week every Thursday, and now it's kind of molding into something new, which is cool. I'm still posting on Thursdays every week a reel, but I'm trying to do better on so my 3 main focuses for messaging is personal and professional development, real estate, and fitness, and just health and wellness in general. So I'm getting better on the health and wellness stuff. I've been mostly only doing stories, but I really want to start filming workout routines and stuff because a lot of people ask me, like after I post a story, a lot of people ask me, what are you eating? What are you doing in the gym? How, like what's been working for you? So I want to give people what they're asking for because I imagine that there's 10 other people that aren't DMing me that have the same question. So I'm just going to start going deeper on that. So I'm just going to be the weird guy at the gym with a tripod, filming himself, doing workouts. But there's no shame, right? You have to pick your uncomfortable. And this is a funny one that I like to say. You can be weird and rich, or you can be cool and broke.
No kidding, right? You gotta pick it. Which one do you want? I agree. I'd rather be weird and rich. That's for when we take a look at coming back to that question about, and I'll probably edit this around that, but coming back to your ideal client, what makes your team different than other real estate companies or teams?
Yeah, I would just say it's the level of service that you get with us. So we've built our team specifically within EXP similar to a fine dining restaurant. Okay, so let's just take there's a nice place in downtown Minneapolis called Manny's. Actually, I'll ask you, what's your favorite restaurant?
I have many, but if I had to pick one, I don't know. It's this like all you can eat sushi place, so it's not really fine dining.
Pick a fine dining place.
Oh shoot. I'll Chop here in Edmonton.
Okay, Chop. So when you go to Chop, what happens? Who greets you?
Usually when I walk up, it's the hostess and asks how can I help you?
Yep. And then what happens?
And they figure out I have reservations. They get the waitress or somebody to walk us to our table, sit us down. Maybe they'll let us know about the specials, but they'll definitely let us know who's going to be serving us and gives us water.
There you go. And what type of person is the waitress? Or waiter?
What kind of person?
Yeah, like what's their energy like?
Well, yeah, they're usually pretty upbeat, always smiling, wanting to make sure that they're there for you and making sure that they introduce themselves.
Yep. Then they take your order and they take your drink order.
Yep.
And then where does that drink order go?
Where does the drink order go?
Yep.
To the bar?
There you go. And then who makes the drink?
Bartender?
Who's really good at making drinks, right?
Ah.
Okay. And then server comes back, brings you the drink. You're like, whew, this is really good. There's a good bartender going on over there. And they take your order. Where does the order go?
To the chef? Or is
Where
it
everybody's trained to be phenomenal culinary connoisseurs, let's just say. So they have a team that knows exactly how to make sure that the food tastes delicious. Then it comes out to you and then you eat it. Tastes really good. The whole time, maybe you go to the bathroom, bathroom's clean, floors are clean, tables are clean. Busboy comes out, makes sure everything looks nice. Manager comes and asks you how your food is, right? And the whole thing turns into this nice experience.
right?
So that's how we built our real estate team. Is our agents are the waiter and waitress, right? The ones that are really outgoing, excited, good at building relationships, love being around people, extroverted, and everything else around them. We've built a listing department, a transaction department, a marketing department, and an inside sales department that takes all the things off their plate that they might not be really good at, that all those other departments are really good at, so that our clients have an exceptional experience. So that's kind of how we built our business, and what makes us different compared to other teams is the level of support that you get is unmatched, right? Imagine if the hostess tried to do all those things that we just listed for you when they came in for all the other people in the restaurant at the same time.
Oh, no.
Right? And so people don't think about that, And just one example, real estate agents aren't very detail oriented. That's just the truth. Salespeople aren't like the checkbox type of person. There's a lot of like compliance stuff that has to be perfect with contracts, the way that things are inputted in the MLS. They're just naturally not good at it. So we have a team of people who love that stuff, that are dedicated to it, that are also really great at interacting with our clients, that take care of all that stuff. And they go home at the end of the day and they're satisfied and they feel good with that. Agents don't typically like to do the type of stuff, they're not satisfied with that. They're satisfied when they have an exciting conversation like we are, and you leave and you're like, yeah, I just had the best conversation ever. That was a great appointment, right? And then they ride it to the next one instead of having to do all that stuff in between. So it's just a full service experience for our clients.
Wow, I love the way you describe that. I never would think about it, but it's so true. It is so true. Oh my gosh. Now, are you expanding out everywhere in the US? Does your team, or are you limited to where you're at?
Good question. So right now we are in Minnesota. So we service all of Minnesota. We have 5 agents that are licensed in Wisconsin as well. So we service Western Wisconsin. And then we have 3 agents that are in Florida. So Naples area, Naples, Fort Myers Beach area. And we're growing the Florida business right now. So we just added another agent who's training up with us up here and then moving down there permanently. But our plan is to grow to become $1.5 billion company in the next 10 years, sales wise. Last year we sold 208 million. We'll do about the same this year. So it's about an 8 times increase what our current company size is. But the plan is Naples in Florida and Minnesota. Those are going to be our 2 big ones. We'll always do the, maybe sometimes some Wisconsin deals. There's also cabin country in Wisconsin where people like to go up to the lake and buy cabins. So we're always going to help those people. But Minnesota and Florida are going to be our bread and butter.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess, again, we're going to do this again.
Okay.
We can talk about, we can go on a bunch of tangents, and definitely we're going to do this again. But if you could leave any message for anybody that you want to hear your message today, okay, keep in mind, future potential agents on your team, future clients, future, friends, associations, what would that message be?
Oh.
Or messages, if you want to leave messages.
Yeah, well, I know I talked about conscious consumption. That would definitely be one of them. The other one is, people, and myself included, I went through this time where there's a lot of self-doubt, where we don't believe that we can accomplish the things that we want to in our brains. And so what I would say to that is there's nothing wrong with you. Okay. What's happening is your current level of awareness isn't where it needs to be based on what your goal is. Okay. So with your current level of awareness, the goal that you're thinking of might not be attainable because of your current level of awareness. So the focus needs to be, how do I increase my level of awareness? What do I need to learn, right? Through conscious consumption. What do I need to change in my habits? What do I need to learn? What do I need to read? What rooms do I need to be in? Who do I need to be around, right? To raise the level of awareness so that you can accomplish those things. But there's nothing standing in between you and your goal besides just the fact that currently right now it might not be true with your current level of awareness that you can conquer that goal that you're self-doubting in your head. But you got to stop listening to that voice and just decide, all right, maybe that's true right now. Like, it wouldn't make sense if if my goal is to send somebody to the moon, there's no way I have any idea of how to do any of that. But I could tell you, if I went to the right people, started reading the right books, went to the right masterminds, found the right friends, started participating in the right groups on social media, whatever it might be, there's a way to get to where you want to go. And so you just have to drop the doubt that you have in yourself. And truly, it's through conscious consumption. Okay. The reason why you're self-doubting yourself is because you're not keeping the promises that you make to yourself. Right. So for example, everybody struggles with this. Okay. And this is what happened to me before I started being focused on the gym. I still fight myself every morning to get out of bed because it fucking sucks to get up that early. Okay. But the truth is, you have to start keeping the promises you make to yourself. So even if you don't say it out loud, in your brain, if you go to sleep and you're going to say, all right, God, I went to the fair today. I ate really bad, but tomorrow I'm going to start my diet and I'm going to wake up at 6:30 and I'm going to go to the gym. Okay. When that alarm clock goes off at 6:30 the next day, if you don't do what you told yourself you're going to do last night, you're letting yourself down. And that's why you feel doubt. When you do that, right? The first day, when you do that, you show yourself, oh, okay, I actually do what I say that I do. So you compound that over 100 days and you start to believe everything that comes out of your mouth because you are aligned with what you're saying you're going to do and you keep the promises you make to yourself. So I would say focus on those two things. You're going to be just fine, but just know that there's a compounding effect that has to happen. It's going to be over a long duration of time. So it's important that you fall in love with the process of whatever it is that you're doing instead of just attaching to the outcome. And just take it one day at a time. That's all you got to do. Win the day. That's it. That's what I would say.
We just won today, I think.
That's good. That's good.
Oh my God. I love what you just said. Everything you just said. And I hope I know that my audiences are getting a lot of value from what you just said. And, like, comment, and share this video, guys, because someone in your life needs that message. You probably need that message to some degree, if not to a bigger degree. But I wanted to say thank you, Cody, for spending time with me. I'm so glad we met on Instagram. You can find him on Instagram, guys. Where else can they find you, Cody?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and that's pretty much it. I don't have a YouTube yet, but that's my next endeavor.
Yeah.
So.
Get on YouTube. All right. Thank you guys for sharing your time with us watching this video. And like I said, like, comment, and share this video. And we'll see you guys again. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Irene.
Hey, good afternoon. I want to go